How's it going? Welcome to the live stream. Hope y'all having a great day. Whew, man, I didn't think we were gonna have a live stream today. I'll be honest with you. I overslept, woke up grumpy, and whew, man, just didn't feel like doing anything. And then about 1 o'clock, I was like, gotta do it, gotta do it. Yeah, man. Oh, still kind of out of it though, but I didn't even brush my hair. I just kind of fluffed it up. Hey, what's up, Stoggy Wolf? What's up, Billy Martin? Whew, man. Man, I got to figure out this sleeping thing because Friday I only slept 5.5 hours, and yesterday, man, I got more done yesterday than I did all week. And then today I slept in and it's just like, I'm not doing the live stream. Hey, what's up, Heath? So, yeah, man, whew. Man, so, I was riding with my friend that, got me into knife making, and, we were doing a lot of talking and stuff, and I was like, I'm probably like the only knife maker that doesn't actually use knives on a regular basis. I mean, I carry my knives, my everyday carry, little knives like this and stuff. But it's like, I'm not a hunter. I'm not a cook. I'm not a chef or whatever and all that stuff. And even in the shop, when I go to cut something, I always pull down like, box cutters or something. So that's why this is in here, because I'm going to start using my knives. Now don't get me wrong. Every knife that I find not acceptable to sell, which believe me is actually a lot of them. A lot of them become my own personal knives. I test them out and I beat them up and stuff, so it's not like I don't know, how good they are or test them out, but I'm like, hey, what's up, Chip? I'm like one of the only guys like, man, I'm a knife maker, but I don't really, plus I don't really go anywhere to use knives, like I say. I mean, I guess cooking I could do at home, but, I've never been a hunter, and I've said this before, like, if someone else wants to hunt, I'll eat the hell out of their deer or elk or anything. I'm a meat eater, but I'm just not a hunter. And, I'm just like way into animals and stuff. And I couldn't pull the trigger or, shoot the bow or anything. But if someone else wants to do it, I'm all for it because, animal control needs to be, population gets overgrown. And I understand all the statistics and stuff in hunting. And I support guys that are hunters because they're better guys than me because I can't do it. In fact, I actually knew a few guys that were hunters, and man, the way they talked about the passion and love for animals is probably deeper than mine. So it's almost like just something, a necessity. So anyway, but hey, what's up, Bootleg Blades? Life ain't fair, man. Howdy, everybody. Yep, life ain't fair. Man, I was going to call this, it's not about skill, but then the other day, I was talking to an old friend, and, a lot of people grow up, and they stay in the same mindset that they've had for years. And, I used to be that way. It's like, oh, life's not fair, life's against me, everybody's against me. And he still had that mindset. And it's like, man, you just gotta shake that past, man. All those things that are just binding you up from the past, you gotta let go, or you're just gonna stay that miserable person. But I'll get on to that later. But yeah, so anyway, yeah, so I'm gonna start using like this knife instead of box cutters. I'm gonna use this knife and put it through its paces. Cause he was like, look, even when you're cutting things at home, just to see. It'll hold an edge when you bang it against 2x4s and stuff. But do you know how long, every time you're in the shop and you go to pull out a knife, how long until you need to strop it again and get that knife sharp? And I was like, man, that's a good point. Not to mention, it'd be good to show people I can actually use a knife. Oh man, here I am promoting knives and all that and don't even use them in my videos. So, yeah, I think that would be a good idea. But another good thing, man, this cough. I've had this cough for like 2 weeks. It just won't go away. It's getting better, it just won't go away. It's driving me crazy. But everyone's like, oh man, you need to make a chef knife. And he's the guy that I'm always talking about that buys like these $400 Japanese knives and all that. And he buys and sells knives and all that stuff. And I was like, man, why don't you design me a chef's knife? Because that's the one thing he's always talking about. Like, he's like, man, I watch all these videos on YouTube of these guys making these chef's knives, but really they're not chef knives. They're just chef-looking knives, and he's like, you could just kind of tell by the way they make them that they wouldn't be really good for cooking or for like, if you're like a prep cook and you have to cook, well, this is his words, not mine. Like, if you have to cut a potato and you're sitting there slicing, you got to get like 20 done in 20 minutes. He's like, if you're cutting it, the potatoes are going to stick to the knife. Now you got to figure out how to make it so when you cut through, every piece falls off and stuff. I worked in a restaurant 30 years ago, but So, and I was like, okay, well then you design me a knife. He's like, what do you want? I was like, I don't know. You design it. If I knew, I would design it. So, but it makes sense. Kind of like Heath, you did that knife, 2 or 3 months back. And everyone's like, oh, why does it look like this? Why does it look like that? And you explained, well, because this is the way I hold it, and this is the way it works better for me. And see, and I don't know that kind of stuff because I don't cook. So I think it would be better. I think it would be better if he designed it and kind of stepped me through it. Now it's kind of like, man, what if he doesn't want to come on? Because he's kind of the opposite. I think that's why we're like best friends, because he's like the polar opposite of me. I'm like Mr. Ego, Mr. On camera, everything. But he's like Mr. Quiet, Mr. Complete Punk Rock, sleeves on his arms, his whole back is a big tattoo, and but he doesn't say much. He's just quiet. Me, I'm like OCD. Every little thing that bugs me, I hold on to for years. He yells about it. In the next 2 hours, he's not even thinking about it again. So we're definitely like the polar opposites. But, like I said, he's the one that got me into knives and all that. Trying to read the comments. But yeah. So here's a funny thing I started excuse me, a funny thing I started thinking about. I guess it was last week, but I wonder how many people think my laugh is like a sign of insanity. Because like, remember on like the Andy Griffith show, like the old, if anyone's that old, like Ernest T was always laughing and everyone's like, that guy's crazy and stuff like that. And it's like, laughter is definitely, or abundance in laughter is definitely a sign of insanity. And, I've never shied away from the fact that I'm insane. So you gotta be crazy sometimes. Crazy or genius, one or the other. And sometimes I fall on both sides of that line. Oh man. I was just like, because when I'm editing my videos, I'll cut out a lot of my laughter and, a lot of my ums and so's and, it drives me crazy how much I say, and so this, it's like, and that's why these live streams, I put them out so you guys can see how much I really stutter and stagger and can't speak right. A good laugh, bootleg blades. A good laugh is a sign of a good person. You know what's funny? On Facebook the other day, I posted same thing I post on Instagram and stuff, and I was asking about, should I redo this handle, which I basically knew I was going to do because I'm not planning on keeping this. If I was going to keep it, I would keep it like it is, but since I'm going to try to sell it, I got to redo the handle. And, this guy, everyone's like real helpful and, oh yeah, this is what you should do. This is what I would do. And this one guy's like, oh, we can see the flaw. We can see how bad that looks. And he's like, ah, ha, 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 we can see that. And I was like, yeah, well, we can see your personality just by this comment. Ah, ha, 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 like that. And he's like, oh, is someone a little bitter? Is someone afraid of the truth? Blah, blah, blah. And I was like, man, read every other comment here. There's a lot of truth. I appreciate the truth, but I don't appreciate, you know, someone being a snarky ass, you know, whatever about it. You know, and it was just like, hey, what's up, Gravinder? So it's just like, you know, it's the first time, but I actually thanked him. I was like, man, I've never been called bitter. I've been called crazy and insane and way out there, but I've never been called little either. I'm 6'2", 240 pounds. Man, I appreciate being little and bitter. Sure, I'll be bitter. Call me a bitter old man. Yeah, man. Whew. So Gravinder asked me the other day about what's the difference between flat grinding and hollow grinding. And so this one's for you, Gravinder. It's you know, like I said in the beginning, I don't use a lot of knives, so the use part I'm not too keen on. I mean, basically, you know, the hollow grind is on a wheel, so the blade curves in like that, which makes it a thinner, more precise cut, I'm pretty sure. Where the flat grind comes straight down, so, you know, things cut off it. You know, basically, that's the difference, you know. One comes to a finer point, and one is straight out. And then you have, like, your convex grind, that, you know, it's the opposite of a hollow grind. Hollow grind is concave, so it comes in. And, you know, flat grinds are flat. And then a lot of people do like convex, where they just round it down. Now, when you put that to use, each one is supposed to have its benefits. Like, I know the hollow grinds are much thinner. You know, the edge is much thinner, but they can also break a lot easier. So it's all about the difference between strength and, you know, durability, basically. If I'm wrong, correct me, but I mean, that's kind of what I've taken away from making knives. Like I say, I've put heavy use into each different one, so. Whew. Whew, right on. So here's a couple of topics I forgot to get to last week. And one is like cheating on knives. And the funny thing is, I always hear people say, oh, that's cheating. When you're doing this, you're cheating. If you use CNC, you're cheating. If you use a mill, you're cheating. In fact, like a lot of purists that are like forging, you know, all into forging, they're like, oh, if you use this, you're cheating. But, you know, something I kind of realized by a lot of these people that are calling other people cheaters, it's, you know, now some of it is a purist. I'd say like 10% of it are like purists that are like, you have to make a knife this way. But when you look at like people's profiles and stuff and what they do, because when people make comments and stuff to me, I always go check out to see what they do or what they're about, and you know, what made them say this comment, just because, you know, my OCD just triggers and I have to go look at people's stuff and see, you know, why. I love analyzing people to see why they do what they do. But a lot of times, you go to these people that call you a cheater, and they're like using a 1x30, or, you know, they're using a file. They haven't even gotten a grinder yet. And it dawned on me, these people that are like, oh, you're cheating, if I was to be like, all right, why don't you come over to my shop and make a knife, you know, and I've got all the tools you can make them, I guarantee they would go right to the mill, they'd go right to the 2x72, you know, they'd go to the big old drill press, and they'd start cheating themselves. So I just find it funny that, you know, people are always like cheating, but I don't think it's oh, you're cheating because they're a purist, which some are. Like I said, I think they say it's cheating because they're jealous and they want to, you know, they want to cheat themselves. You know, man, I don't think anything is cheating. Unless the only thing is cheating is if you steal someone else's design or steal someone else's thing and call it yourself. You know, hey, I made this. Now that's cheating. Which kind of brings me to another topic. I'm not going to talk about who it is. But for a while, you know, it's a guy that's pretty big on Instagram and all the social medias. And I talk to him all the time. And it's like 3 or 4 months ago, I noticed I would say an idea. I was like, oh, I'm going to make this video or something like that. And all of a sudden, he would come out with that video. Now, as a guitarist and stuff, I've watched videos on, you know, or computers or anything. And you watch these guys, and that could be coincidence, right? You know, 2 guys put out the same video or have the same idea. Coincidence, no problem. You know, I find, you know, so I wrote it off. I was like, oh, that's just a coincidence. I said this idea and he put out that video. Until Friday. He was like, oh, I have this problem, blah, blah, blah. I can't figure it out. Oh, I don't know what to do. Maybe I'll do this. Maybe I'll do this. Blah, blah, blah. I'm keeping it vague because I don't want to say the person because, you know, I still got to be respectful. And he said, oh, I've been having this problem. So I DM'd him and I was like, hey, here's what I do, you know, to solve that problem. 2 hours later, he posts and he's like, oh, look, I found the solution. And you know, I asked my friend this. I was like, look, am I being petty? You know, he could have been like giving me credit, but that part, okay, he didn't have to say my name or nothing. That, you know, it would have been nice. Something I would have done. Been like, hey, thanks to this person for giving me this idea. But the fact that he took credit for it himself. And my friend said, yeah, that's kind of a dick move. You know, he's like, even if he doesn't say your name and be like, hey, this person told me to do this with this and it worked, to be like, oh man, someone helped me and look what, I figured out how to do it. You know, so, and that's why I always talk, you know, that's the guy that's gonna make the chef knife and all that stuff. He's like, he's the guy I bounce everything off of because he knows how insane I am. You know, you guys only see me a couple hours a week. He sees me all the time. So anytime when I'm like, man, you know, am I overthinking this? Am I overreacting this? And at first when I was like, you know, he should have mentioned, hey, thanks to Vader Knives for this help. He's like, no, he shouldn't. But I was like, yeah, but what about this? And he's like, or said, hey, someone helped me. Didn't even have to say, he's like, yeah, that would have been nice. And then I told him about the ideas for the videos 3 months ago, how I thought it was a coincidence, but now everything's kind of coming together. He's like, oh, yeah, that is pretty, that's pretty messed up. I almost cussed. That's pretty messed up. You know, that's how I am. I'm a very analytical person. And I let people think they get away with stuff, but, it's something I kind of want to change because it's like, man, I hold on to things. That's what I was talking about earlier. I hold on to things. But when, you know, 2 + 3, you know, starts equaling 5 and you see it over and over, you know, now, is it a coincidence anymore? I don't think so. Bootleg Blades, always give credit where credit is due. Shepherd's Forge, man, you gotta shout out who helped. Yeah. God, man, I wish see, my reading is horrible. I'm like half dyslexic, so half of it I read straight and half of it I read backwards. In fact, the lady that comes once a month to clean my house, she gave me this Joe Gibbs book. You know, I live in D.C., and I was like, I don't read. You know, I watch videos. I watch stuff that's educational, but my reading skills, because I learned this a long time ago. Like, I would read, and when you hit a word you don't really understand or you don't like or your brain doesn't process, it'll send you daydreaming. So I used to have to read like a paragraph like 5 or 6 times, even just because I can't keep attention to reading. But that's what's so awesome about YouTube and all this. But yeah, so she gave me a Joe Gibbs book, and I'm like, man, I'm not going to read this. She's like insistent I take it. I'm like, you don't understand. It's not gonna get any use. I mean, I met Joe Gibbs in the '90s and all that stuff. I used to hate the Redskins, though. It's funny because I'm from D.C., but I've always been a Miami Dolphins fan. And when Redskins beat the Dolphins back in, '83, man, I was livid. Ah, man. That was until my drummer worked at Joe Jacoby's restaurant as a cook. And all the Redskins bought me a beer and I was 18. I was like, I guess I can start liking the Redskins now. Yeah, man. All right. Woof. So, a couple of weeks ago I was talking about why I don't buy a forge and stuff like that, and why I don't, try forging. And I realized when I was doing this Bowie knife, that lathe is the perfect example of why I don't want to forge. I bought the mill and the lathe at the same time. Now, I use the mill a lot, but I think I've used that lathe maybe 3-4 times in the 2 years I've had it, or year and a half I've had it. And that's exactly why I would buy a forge, I'd buy an anvil, I'd sink all this money into it, and then it would sit out and rust, because it's not, I was like, oh man, I'm going to get into the machining, and this lathe will be awesome, I can turn my own things and parts, and I don't use it, it just sits there. And now, every once in a while I use it, but it's really not an excuse to spend that much money on something I only use a couple times a year. But yeah, so I figured if you guys remember that forge rant I went on a couple weeks ago, this would be a good example of, why I'm not into forging and anvils and all that stuff, because it wouldn't be something I used a lot. But right, so life's not fair. I came up with this. I was gonna call it this live stream, it's not about skill, but we'll get into that next. But man, it's so funny. The more problems you bring on yourself, or the more excuses you make, the more you start saying life's not fair. And that's what I was talking about my friend. He's like, oh man, this and that, and he doesn't even message me with words. He just messages me these songs that are like, about how everyone's against you, and there's so much hatred in the world, and so many problems in the world, and oh man, everything gets you down. And it's like, man, dude, you have got to let go. Man, that was 10 years ago, 15 years ago. You got to let it go, because it's just going to keep compiling and compiling, and you're just going to keep blaming everyone else. And man, life's not fair. If life was fair, we'd all be sitting in Hawaii sipping pina coladas, But even those, I mean, look at the top YouTubers that are making millions and top of the game. Everything's great. A lot of them burn out, have problems. So even that, even when you're at the top of the heap, look at Mike Tyson, look how he fell. Look at all the jackass guys, how, man, if you looked at them, they have everything in the world. But man, you come to find out a few years later, man, they were all in turmoil and shit just wasn't working out right. So, man, it doesn't matter what part of the spectrum you're on, man. Life is just not going to be fair. If life was fair, my Bowie handle would have broke. And, at first, I started blaming the wood. If you watch that last video, it's like, oh, this is why I don't use wood. Then I realized, man, I made it too thin and it popped. It was my fault. It wasn't the wood's fault. I mean, yeah, wood is weak and all that, and it probably wouldn't have. No, it probably would have, because I made it too thin. Here I am going to make excuses. See? It's like, it's so easy to blame everything else. Man, when people start thinking life is fair, then, yeah, they got it too easy. Yeah, man. Or the irony of life is, you start thinking you have it real good, and life shows you how it can really be. And man, that one's kicked me in the ass a few times. It's like, whoo, man, things are going great. Man, I'm sailing, man. Whoo, everything's going real good. And all of a sudden it's like, bam, 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 bam. In fact, the last couple of weeks have been, I can't talk. See, I need to edit. A live stream edit. You know, before I took that 2-week break, you know, like a month before that, everything was sailing, everything was going real good. And then I started just pushing too hard, and it's like, man, you're getting too big for yourself, and we'll show you, you know, how small you really are, you know, and that's what it is. Want to make God laugh, make plans. Yeah, you got that right. Bootleg Blades, you got it figured, Dave. Do life, don't let life do you. Yeah, man, but, oof, it's a hard one, I'll tell you. Man, this sleeping lately, I've been sleeping too much, and I can't break it. I think the problem is because, you know, lately I've been falling asleep at like 3 a.m., but I got to get up at like 7, you know, and take care of my mom and all that. And then instead of staying up, I fall back asleep. And then when I fall back asleep, I fall back asleep for like 4 or 5 more hours. So instead of getting like 5, 6 hours of sleep, I'm getting like 8 to 10 hours of sleep, and it's just like wrecking me. But in the last 2 weeks, the 2 days I only slept 5.5 hours were like the most productive days out of the whole month put together. So, whew, yeah, man, life's not fair. Let's bring it back around. Oh, man. See, there's my sign of insanity again. Oh, man. So, if you guys watched that video, I guess it was a couple videos back, where my thumbnail got caught on the belt, and it busted off. But, man, before, you know, these fingernails here are usually short. But usually this one grows out, and I got to keep this one for guitar, and then I just keep this one, you know, to keep it, I don't know. Why not? But every time I put up a video when this thumbnail starts growing out, people are like, oh man, I bet you do a lot of coke with that. Oh man, look at that. Look at those coke nails, mama. You know, and I don't do drugs anymore. You know, when you're a kid. But I'll tell you what, if you've ever done coke and you think a coke nail is the way to go, oh, it's nasty. Anyway, I mean, that's 30 years ago. But, you know, you got to use your key. You don't use your nails. But it's just so funny. And sometimes I'll put out like this awesome thing, and it's like, man, I finished this knife. Look at it. And all people can say is, man, you need to make a Damascus nail file so you can cut those nails. Or you need to do this so you can cut those nails. It's like, man, okay. But then, you know, I don't even use this thumbnail for guitar, but I always make them feel guilty about it. And be like, oh, my arm is messed up. I don't have a choice. I mean, with this thumbnail, it's true. I have to keep this thumbnail like manicured and perfect and all that so I can play guitar. But then, you know, I'm always holding the phone and showing this, so they always see this thumbnail. So, but it's good to make them feel guilty. Oh, Heath, man, dude, I'll tell you what. He says weather change does it to me. I think that's a huge part of it, because you know. If you look, that was 2 months ago. That's when everything started kind of rolling bad, you know. All summer, man, I didn't miss one stream, all that stuff, and then bam, September hit, and that's when everything's, I'm totally, you know, a lot of people call it bipolar and stuff, or I guess it's a symptom of bipolar, and, but yeah, man, weather, I just hate cold weather. Whew. Or I'm trying to read, but oh, SLG Foxy, I missed that. Hey, how's it going? Glad to see you back. Right on, right on. Man, see, this cough is the thing is, it's starting to get better, which means it's all trying to come up. So it's making me cough more. Anyway, so, whew, let's get on to this last one. It's not about skill. Now, this is what I was going to name the live stream today. Because, man, every time I have like a guy starting out with knife making or someone that's a little bit, couple, maybe 6 months into it or whatever, they always say, man, I wish I had your skill. Man, I wish I had your skill. I wish I had your skill. I hear that so much. And man, I don't, I guess there's natural talent, which can be attributed to skill. But skill to me, man, is hard work and determination, I didn't just wake up and become a YouTuber or become a knife maker. In fact, that's why I did that video about don't get discouraged. People are always like, oh man, I can't do it because of this, or I can't do it because of that. No, you can't do it because you're not willing to put in that hard work and time. And that's another reason why I try to show my failures and things that happen bad on YouTube. It's like, man, we all have to go through these steps, and we all have to take this journey. And there's going to be failure, and there's going to be, success, and you're going to learn, and you're going to progress, and you're going to get more and more. But even you could be 10 years down, and you can still make mistakes and learn from those mistakes. And it's like, man, you can have my skill. You can have my skill, no problem. You just have to put the time into it. In fact, you could probably have my skill in half the time I took because, my arm's messed up, but, I don't know. When people call this a disability, I kind of like, I can't call it, this was kind of self-inflicted from me being a stubborn ass and not going to the hospital. That's not a disability. Disability is something that happens to someone, not something that you're just too dumb to, because I don't like hospitals, so I didn't want to go to the hospital. It took me 2 weeks. In fact, if I would have gone to the hospital when I started having the problems, getting sick and stuff, I probably wouldn't have had heart surgery either. But my stubborn ass waited 2 weeks until I was like deathly sick. And they're like, well, now you need heart surgery. So these things aren't disabilities to me. They're just me being a dumbass, But people are always saying, oh, man, you've come so far. Look what you've overcome and blah, blah. It's like, man, it's just a hard work, man. Hard work, hard work. York Knife Bushcraft Survival EDC. Skills when people get to see you succeeding. Sorry, I can't read. Succeeding once, but they never noticed when you were falling on the road. Is that failing or falling over and over? Yeah, exactly. Right. Heath said, you gotta be hungry. Yeah, man, you gotta stay hungry. In fact, Heath, I remember for a while there, you're like, I'm just gonna be a forger. I'm not gonna be a knife maker. I love forging more. So, that's another part of it. You can change your mind, and that goes back to the whole life thing. It's your choice. If you think, oh man, I have a passion for this, and you start doing it, and you get into it, it's like, I've said that about the chef knives. Everyone wants me to make a chef knife, but I just have no passion for chef knives, or forging or any of that stuff. It's like, man, you can change your mind. And, that's the best part about life. No matter how unfair it is, you always have, the choice. Well, not always. There's some times where you don't have a choice. Like if you just robbed a bank, you don't have a choice. You're going to jail. But you made that choice to rob that bank. It all connects. Anytime something's bad or something's unfair or something doesn't work out right, man, before you look at anywhere else, you got to look at yourself. What did I do to have these things happen? Now, some things in life just happen and it's out of our control. But for the most part, a lot of things are our control. Yeah, now he saw knives, definitely. He got bit by the bug again. It was that reader grinder that did it. I tell you what, I love my reader grinder. But I still love my KMG too. I find myself using my KMG just as much. I thought, oh no, I got this new reader, I'm not going to use the KMG anymore. But yeah, they both have their workarounds and their better parts and their easy parts and their hard parts and all that good stuff. Yeah, man. Woo. Let's see, did I run out of topics? I think I did. Oh, man, oh, man. So, we got 5 minutes left. I think I'm going to call it there unless anyone has something they want to talk about. Maybe I can read the comments if my eyes will start working. Man, I've been saying for months I got to go get my eyes checked. I just keep buying stronger and stronger glasses and making my eyes worse and worse. Tell you what. I'll never learn. Same thing with my arms. Same thing with my heart surgery. Just keep putting it off. Keep putting it off. Till I'm like blind and legally blind. And oh man. I'm hard-headed. I'll tell you what. That's the one thing. People think I'm very helpful and all laughs. But man, I'm stubborn as they come. Oh man. So I'm so set in my way. TTT Entertainment. Here from TikTok. Right on. Oh, there's a topic. I'm glad you showed up. Man, let me see if I can see this. Alright, so TikTok. TikTok is blowing up, right? But check this out. These are, I don't know if we'll be able to see this. These are all the same posts. All the same hashtags. All the same thing. For every 5 to 10 posts I put up, TikTok violates 2 to 5 of them. And now look, if I put up the same post and they violated every post, like look, okay, violation. Let's see, violation. 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 But these are all the same posts, same hashtags, same kind of content, all knife making. I've even tried changing the hashtags. I've tried changing where I'll start on the drill. Because it's like, okay, maybe they see the knife as the first picture and they violate it. But no, I've started on other stuff and then brought it over to the knife. And there's a bunch in here, look. These 3 right here are all knives. And I'm trying to look here. These are all knives. All knife pictures. You know? Look, this one right here. That went through, but the one next to it, it's almost the exact same picture. And it didn't go through. I don't understand TikTok. I don't understand what makes them violate and what makes them not. I'm not going to stop posting on there because, man, in like a month, I've got like half the followers I got on Instagram. I mean, TikTok's blowing up. If you want to get your stuff out there, put it on TikTok. You just got to be persistent about it. TikTok is China government, man. You know, it started... yeah, good Lord, I don't know what happened there. It started in China from what I understand. And okay, I get that. And I understand it's a lot of bots. They bots hit things and they don't like things. But you know what I did? Because it says if you think you've been, or if this has been violated wrongly, write a letter. Or give us a reason it should be put out. And I did that for like 4 different things. So I think that put them on my ass even more. I should have just left things alone, but you know me, I can't leave anything alone. I gotta push things. But yeah, I've got like, what? I've got, on YouTube, I got like 2,600 subscribers. On Instagram, I got a little over 3,000 followers. In the 2 months or a month or so on TikTok, I've got like 1,300 followers. It's like, good Lord. So TikTok's the place to be. You just have to keep, putting things out there. Now, I will say, in all honesty, some of these where you see it like 4 or 5 are violated where I tried to repost them with different hashtags. So it seems to be the content You know, once it's flagged, they flag it. You know, I've tried just about everything to keep boom, 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 trying it. But man, if you want to get your work out there, you got to get on TikTok. We as knife makers just have to figure out. But it's kind of Instagram. Now, see, Instagram never blocked the post, but they started blocking hashtags and all that stuff. So, you know, it's you know, maybe some of these get violated because someone sees it and they don't want their kids seeing it, so they make an issue about it. That could be part of it. But, you know, I'm not teaching people how to use knives or be violent or anything. I'm teaching people a craft. Just like if I was to build a house, it's teaching a craft. But anyway, so, whew, man, look how life treated me, man. Guy showed up from TikTok. I completely forgot about that. Man, life's been good to me today. Yeah, man. I'm even 1 minute over my 40 minutes. Right on. Yeah. But TikTok, I don't, I mean, I'm old, so I don't understand it. And it's you know, you go on there, and, you know, it's all these people just acting goofy. And that's what I think it's from what I understand, TikTok started out as like a music thing and like a sketch comedy thing. So, nah. You know, but there's like Kyle Royer. I haven't seen Kyle Royer post anything, so maybe he got sick of what I was just talking about and stopped posting there. And Moosey Fire Arts, you know, the guy from Knife Talk podcast, he's on there. But actually, I haven't seen many posts from him lately either. So, I don't know. It's kind of hard to find people and stuff. And the one thing I'm trying to figure out is, like, they give you a minute to make a video. In fact, that's why if you follow me on Instagram, you see a lot of those things that say TikTok, because I just carry it over from TikTok. But most of the videos I see are only like 15 to 20 seconds. So I'm wondering if they take your minute and cut it down, but I don't know. Anyway, Chip, life's not fair. Woo, man. But, you know, the thing is, let me get back on this life's not fair topic, because I forgot a part about it. If this was 60 years ago, no one would be saying life's not fair. They would just be working their ass off. The thing is, yeah, I'm glad you saying that shit made me think about this was part of it. You know, when we start, you know, like I'm 48. So you start watching movies about how great life can be. You start watching movies about, oh, this kid just got a Porsche because he was goofy and this and that, and oh, things didn't seem right, but all of a sudden they turned out great for him, you know. And this is our movies, you know, all these movies give you this false illusion about what life should be. Oh, if you do this, everything's just going to work out perfect, you know. All those Breakfast Club movies and all those, you know, 80s movies, that's how they were. Oh man, you can do everything wrong and life will just, in the end, come out right. TV, they all do it, you know. Oh man, you just have to follow your dreams and life will just set the path for you. You follow your dreams and man, you got the golden road ahead. But that's not how it is. And that's what makes people think life's unfair, because we're kind of ingrained with these expectations that, oh man, this is what life could be. But they don't show, you know, the happy ending, they don't show 6 months later after the happy ending when the couple are fighting and hate each other and, you know, throwing dishes at each other and stuff like that. Or, you know, the guy rides off into the sunset and then comes to the next town and gets killed by a couple bikers. You know, it's you know, we're taught this dream where it's like, oh man, this is how life is supposed to be. But man, that's nowhere near. You go back before all this TV and man, that was hard work. I mean, that was a hard life. You know, if you didn't figure out how to get food, you weren't going to eat that week. If your crops died or it didn't rain this month, you know, you could lose your farm. You know what I'm saying? So life has never been fair. We just have these new expectations that we're I can't think of words today. Like I said, I slept too late. You know, we think we deserve stuff instead of we should earn things. And that's kind of what this whole media thing is. Oh, man, life should be this way for me. I should have everything. Everything should be given to me. You know, if I just work a little bit, then I'll get gains this big, you know. Little work, big gains. Little work, big gains. You know, oh, take the easy way and everything will fall into place. Well, man, that shit don't work. It ain't how it goes. All right, I got on another rant. So I think I'm gonna call it there before I cough everyone's ears off and go take some more cough medicine, try to make it through. But oh, that heat treating came out good, and that gun gum, I think, cause he's used it, and he showed me a picture of the same thing, and when I heat treated it, the gun gum fell off real, you know, easy. If you guys follow me on Instagram or TikTok, I think that one actually got through TikTok. But I think the problem is, I don't know if you need the wire, but I think you need to let it dry for like overnight, 12 hours. Because it's basically exhaust gum, you know. If you got a hole in your exhaust, so you need to let it dry. And that's what I did on that Bowie knife, and it came out real nice. So I think the key to that gun gum is you have to let it dry. I don't know if I'll have to do another test to see if the wire is part of it. But yeah, I let it dry for like 2 hours, 3 hours, put it in, and it fell off. So I'm interested to see how that hamon turns out. But we'll see. That'll be coming up in Monday or Tuesday, Wednesday's video. Probably Tuesday or Wednesday. Alright, thanks for showing up, everyone. I'm glad I made it. Man, this is my therapy. People go talk to a therapist. I talk to a camera. Makes me feel better. Hopefully it helps some of you guys too. You know, but either way, you know, we're all here for each other, man. That's what this community is about. That's the one thing I try to build, is community. And it's always awesome because I'll see like Chip or Aaron talk to each other, or, you know, comment here and there and go help each other out, or Bootleg Blades talking to someone else, and it's like, man, you know, that's what this community needs. We all need to support each other and help each other through, and I'm sure there'll be a time when I need all your help to actually, last couple of weeks, man, you guys were like, where's the live stream? Are you going to do the live stream? So I brought it back. So thank you guys for that. You know, we got to help each other out here. You know, kumbaya. Oh, man. Oh, pull some hippie shit on you. All right, thanks for watching. I got shirts on my website. The link's up here, and the first one in the description. Let's see, Amazon links, affiliate links, all that good stuff. I think there's 4 or 5 knives up there. All that good stuff. So, thanks for stopping by, and yeah, let's have a great week, and hope to see you Tuesday or Wednesday and all that. But yeah, hope all is well, and as always, take it easy.